Alright, it's time for issue 6 of Nintendo Power with Knights of the Black Lodge. This is Gray Fox 37.
It's Earth Day, dude!
And Ardeth's been a really nice guest over at our place for a few days, so since Pikachu's away on hiatus, as I call it, quote unquote, she's banging her boyfriend. No, I'm just kidding.
She needs to tune the maestro.
It's probably now we have to turn this to a true 18 and up rating. I was kidding. I always say our videos aren't for kids anyway on this, so, but yeah, unfortunately we didn't get around to doing the wizard and stuff. I was a little too tired for that. We were going to also do like a video on all the bullshit that's been going on lately, but honestly, after the long day of work I've had, and just I'm just getting off social media for a little bit, because I can't stand the clutter that's just coming up with it and everything, but I don't want to start going off on a tangent, so we'll stop there. So Ninja Turtles issue is here, and also we're going to continue on with the first Ninja Gaiden game, and then a little more Bayou Billy and Cobra Triangle, so got some good stuff here. So, you know, pretty good, not bad artwork there, and then they got the little pizza balanced on the side, unless that's in Michelangelo's hands. Yeah, it's in Mikey's hands. Okay. Well, it looks like the Sai's stabbing it. How dare you stab that pizza?
Homicide pizza.
Homicide pizza. But yeah, it's all about Donatello, like we said before, and ironically enough, he's my favorite Ninja Turtle for sure. Who's yours?
You know, ironically, it's also Donatello.
Like the smart guy, what can I say? I loved how he would create things and stuff, so...
You know what the ironic thing is? There actually was an arc in one of the comics where it was like, I think 30 years in the future, and Donatello was the only surviving member. Like, there was a huge battle in New York, and Donatello was the only one who survived.
The funny thing is, with the... when I remember they had a profile, and if I'm a little congested because I just ate and stuff, so if I'm pausing at points, that's why. There we go. What's really funny is that when I saw some profiles, I remember seeing with Leonardo, he was like 16, and then like Raphael and Donatello were 15, and then Michelangelo was like 15 and like 7/8 or something like that. Like they had that on there or something, and I was just like, okay, you know. So it was really interesting to see that there, where it's like, oh, Mikey's the second oldest, okay. But yeah, if you haven't seen Ninja Turtles, it was an awesome cartoon that was developed in the 80s, and it has a comic too, and then like, you know, pretty much video games, merchandise, tons of spin-offs have come from it, but honestly nothing beats the original.
Yeah, although recently there was the Batman vs. Ninja Turtles movie that just came out.
Oh, that's true, and I remember Batman tries pizza in that. I remember that, or tries like a special type of pizza, yeah, so little laughs there, but Leonardo was a leader. Raphael's pretty much like the, you know, kind of like the Sigma of the group, basically, if you want to go by Wolf standards. He's basically the Sigma, he goes his own way. Then you got Donatello, who's the genius, he created a lot of their vehicles and things like that. And then Michelangelo's the party guy, and he of course has that awesome, he's got that awesome surfer language, dude. Yeah. So, but yeah. Basically, you know, Leonardo, of course, is just like the goody two shoes obedient one. It's kind of like where you have Cyclops for the X-Men. Leonardo's pretty much Cyclops, and Raphael's kind of like Wolverine. So,
or you know, if you want to go with a Street Fighter allegory, Leonardo's Ryu, Raphael's pretty much like maybe Guile, Michelangelo would be Ken, and Donatello would, I guess, be Dawson, maybe.
Interesting analogies too. So here we go. Powerful connection to Captain Nintendo. Did we dial this number? Like, I know we dialed like the one that had the 9 in it, but did we dial this number?
No, I'm not sure if we did.
I tell you what, let's go ahead and do that right now. So might as well get this started off by dialing another number. Oh, that's a 900 number. No, thank you. I just noticed instead of an 8, it's a 9. Yeah, no, thank you. We're going to yeah. Avoid that, so...
I guess Captain Ed needs the money to get Lana a new outfit.
Right. Okay.
Baby needs some new Air Jordans.
Alright, so we're all set to good to go on that there. So what we're going to do is skip that so we don't get charged... so we don't get charged... let's see here. Captain Nintendo has a new 900 number Call for the latest news, strategy, and tips of the week 24 hours a day. The message runs about 2 minutes and changes every Sunday morning. A call to Captain Nintendo is $1.50 for the most powerful information you can get. You might even share the tips around to help your buddies keep your buddies' phone bills down. Oh yeah, I'm sure Mom and Dad are going to appreciate the $1.50 every Sunday on there, and it's just like, hey, guess what? I'm going to save you $1.50. Well, guess what? You're grounded, but it's only $1.50. It doesn't matter. It's my house, my rules. I wonder how many conversations those went through.
Yeah, for reference, $1.50 was actually more expensive than a new copy of any comic book at the newsstand back then.
Yeah, these 900 numbers also were infamous for like sports tips. Like they would have like for compulsive gamblers and stuff like that, and then they'd also have like sex lines for it and shit like that. And they would charge you like rip off prices on these. So I mean, $1.50 today is nothing, but yeah, back then it's just a principle. Ultimately, though, it comes down to the principle of the matter. You know, it's like get your goddamn parents' permission before you dial out on that. You know.
Yeah, back then $1.50 would be 2 sodas and a new copy of the X-Men.
That's true. You know, and $1.50 was also a new release movie rental from Blockbusters.
Yep.
Either way, it's a powerful connection. The only official line to tips from the powerhouse Nintendo. A hot tip from Captain Nintendo. Remember to get permission to call for whoever pays the bill. Sage advice there, Captain N.
Yeah. Wonder how many kids followed it.
Now, yeah, no kidding. Nowadays, it just pretty much comes down to the internet. I mean, I tell you, the internet is just a fantastic. I mean, it's the one thing that we can thank Al Gore for once. You know, it's a fantastic information superhighway, as they call it. But unfortunately, as the years progressed, we've seen the darker and darker and darker sides of it. Alas.
Or, well, I'm thinking on that, maybe we're just seeing its true intention finally unveiled.
Yeah, well, it's cool. Yeah, we'll quote Star Wars. You know, now you see what you realize that your destiny is basically converting people into PC culture. Your true power. So yeah,
the true dark power.
So here's the table of contents. I'm really looking forward to this issue. You got Ninja Turtles, the Nestor Awards. So we're basically going to find out, what we voted on in the last video. Bayou Billy again, Cobra Triangle again, Life Force. You get a little more there. Continuing Ninja Gaiden, and now the previews. So we get into some pretty awesome games. I'm really looking forward to looking at Mega Man 2. Faxanadu is that is just a dark horse RPG wonder there, and I'll go into that when we get there. Uncle Fester's Quest, we don't need to worry about that. Clash at Demon Head. Did you ever play that game? I've heard of it, but I never played it.
Nah.
Okay. We'll look at it and then just pass on that. Dragon Warrior, I mean, oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got the shivers too. I tell you, that is just the first Dragon Quest, you know, because that's now how we identify them. So basically it's just really good stuff to look forward to on that. Then Howard Nestor comic, Counselor's Corner, Friends, Nintendo Power Critics, Father's Day special. You know what's funny? It is that month for Father's Day,
yep.
But it's also Gay Pride Month. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
Hey, maybe your dad celebrated Gay Pride Month. You ever think of that, kiddo?
Yeah, right. He comes out of the closet like after, what was it, like 40, 40, almost 41 years of marriage, and he comes out of the closet. Boy, I mean, then you got George Takei, who pretty much kind of solidified that and stuff. I mean, politics aside, I like George. He's a nice guy. So same thing with like Mark Hamill. Politics aside, he's a nice guy. So he hated the new Star Wars, so can't blame him there. So then after that, we'll go to some video shorts there. So Super Dodgeball, so that's going to be awesome there. Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle, which is ironically enough, that is the very first and only Nintendo game that my dad's beaten. So that my dad actually does have that stamped there. Fist of the North Star, Rock On, Kung Fu Heroes, Street Cop, Athletic World, Amagon, Monster Party, Adventure of Lolo, and Highlight, right? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Highlight.
Highlight, there we go, thank you. Yeah, that was an awkward attempt at being Dragon Quest, but whatever. Then you got your Pack Watch, and then everything else there, so that's what we're looking at. So let's crack this puppy open. So we got the mailbox here. So NES Gourmets, you got Mike Tyson's Punch, so that's pretty cool there. I tell you what, we'll have to try that sometime.
Yeah.
So yeah, that looks good. 2 cups strawberry Kool-Aid, 2 cups raspberry Kool-Aid. Do they even make raspberry Kool-Aid anymore?
I think you might have to dig around, but you could probably find it.
Probably go on Amazon. I mean, I did find white sauce on Amazon, which, it's great for making SOS. If you don't know what SOS is, it's shit on a shingle. Basically, it's an army meal where basically what you do is you take white sauce and you mix it up with ground beef, and then also you shave onion and garlic into it. You want to do 1/2 onion, 2 cloves of garlic, and you basically shave it get a good grater and shave it into the beef. Then what you do is you cook the beef with the garlic and onion with it, and then after that you cook the white sauce and mix it up there. You can basically pour it over any type of toast, crack eggs on it, like over easy, over medium, scrambled, whatever you prefer there, and what's great about it is it was one of my dad's favorite meals when he was in the Army, and what I love about it is that my mom taught me how to make it, and the good news is Dad told me that Mom knows how to make it the Army way, as he calls it, so I'm just like, alright, so I know how to make it the Army way, and even like Pikachu, who's not really a beef fan, loved it. Our buddy Tyler loved it. I mean, it's a great meal, so if you ever want to give it a shot, that is just the definite way to do it there. So yeah, we'll give that a shot. Now ginger ale, of course, is handy, and frozen strawberries. I mean, yeah, that's a plenty. I wonder what would happen if it might be interesting if we added a little orange juice to that too. But we'll give it a whirl, and we'll just let you know how it is when we eventually try it. The super graphics for Super Mario Brothers 2 are some of the best ever by Nintendo. Yeah, well, I mean, up to this point, but I kind of sit there and I'm like, gee, you really don't know what that game really is, do you?
Yeah.
Doki Doki! Metal Gear Comedian. Metal Gear is the best. I kind of sit there and I'm like, really, with how buggy and unfair it is?
Not to mention, you had to go through like each and every separate key at each and every separate door.
Exactly, and just the fact that the collision detection in it, but I could go off on that all day. But again, it was the first start to making pretty much a very, very popular franchise for quite a while there. I have a riddle. What do an expert golfer and Double Dragon have in common? They both have low pars, din-din-din, or yeah, wow. Like the name of the black dude in it. That's pretty clever. Still sucks, but no, I was kidding. Compliments galore. Fantastic NES artist. I don't know. I mean, I've seen worse, but okay. I mean, it's whatever. Probably a younger kid. Sequel Madness. I just purchased the most thrilling game ever, Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. Still with very impressive graphics, music, and strategy. Yeah. It had good, I mean, the soundtrack was really good. It's sad they didn't have the classic overworld theme to it, but yeah, the palace music's the shit there. But, unfortunately, graphically it was pretty good for its time there. It's just, yeah, you gotta be strategic with that game. That game is tough. And speaking of tough, here we go. We got the Ninja Turtles we're pulling up here, and kind of corny looking. I mean, it's still decent, but look at those brick feet there.
Yeah. Well, at least they didn't get what's it called, the same treatment as those comic book characters from the '90s, with like their triangle feet.
Right. And then look at Shredder. He looks like he's gonna take a shit there.
Oh, I had too much turtle soup last night.
Good one. So there's Splinter. So I like how they gave him kind of like the gray paws and like the grayish looking beard around the muzzle there. So they're showing Area 3 and whatnot. So we kind of talked about that. There's Mecha Turtle. And of course you remember the wizard. It's like, I got the Mecha Turtle, it's like, just got the scroll weapon, yeah. So here's some artwork for, there you go, Mecha Turtle and stuff. So here's some artwork basically for the enemies in the game. So yeah, these things suck. Like if you attacked the body, and it would destroy it, the head would just fly off back and forth across the screen in like kind of like a triangle pattern, and that was just annoying as hell. Fire Freaks, Giant Frogs, Chainsaw Maniac, Mecha Turtle. Like the funny thing is that that's a really awkward foot soldier. That looks like a putty from from Power Rangers.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah. But then, like, here's the funny thing. The Shredder and Mechaturtle are the only two bosses represented here, basically. Sometimes these people could be like mini bosses, where they'll put that boss music like the deer, that sort of thing. So I kind of sit there and I'm just like, alright, whatever.
Yeah, it was 80s games design. It's like, what makes you a boss now? I've got a different color palette. I'm fabulous.
So, Bebop and Rocksteady, yeah, right, I'm super fabulous, yeah. Bebop and Rocksteady were easy. With Bebop, all you had to do was get him to start running into the corner to the right, and you just keep attacking him over and over. With Rocksteady, you just hop up onto the ledge here and just strike down with the bow staff with Donatello. Yeah. And that's all there is to it. This stage, the underwater stage, I had so many freaking nightmares of. I remember when I finally got past this stage at long last, I screamed, I just screamed victory. Mom was just like, what happened? I'm like, I finally got through the dam! When you're a kid and you have like a lack of patience and things like that, getting through a stage like this is just, it's a miracle. It's kind of like when you think you're not that good at a game, and it was like in Mega Man 2, the very first Mega Man game I played, when you think you're not good at a game, and all of a sudden you beat the game, or not beat the game, but you beat like your first Master Robot, and you're just like, oh! It's like, make me a sandwich! Oh!
Oh, I tell you, man, for me, that was like when I beat the Samurai boss in that DLC for Dark Souls 2. I was like, I finally did it solo! Fuck the haters, I finally did it.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. There you go. And then, like, here's Area 3. So this is, like, the biggest part in New York City. So you have to hop between, like, buildings and sewers. That has that super annoying jump in it. And for some reason, you can swim in the dam level, but when you fall into, like, sewer water, it just takes you back to the beginning. Sorry. So, it's a little awkward there. And then at this point, this little point here pissed me the fuck off until I realized, you don't jump. You just walk right across it consistently, and that's how you get the missiles for the turtle van, and then you take out some barricades that are basically around. It's really cool with the overhead map. I kind of like transitioning between that, because this kind of started, this and like Zelda and things like that kind of technically started the beginnings of open world in a sense. I mean, it's still sandbox in this case, but it kind of has that sort of open world thing where it's just like you don't have to go into every building to complete your objectives in this, but sometimes if you go into them, it adds more fun or annoyance to go through things, and then at that point you might be able to find extra things like ropes or missiles or things like that.
You know what's the interesting thing you mentioned about learning you could just walk consistently over that gap? Is that they had the same thing with the Veilus games on the Sega Genesis, where you had like the slide attack, and you could just slide like right before the edge, and you would make it across the gap every fucking time. It's
exactly
one of the weirdest little things you can pull off in the Sega Genesis game. But hey,
there you go. There's a scroll weapon that's being used by Michelangelo right now. So basically, that was the best sub weapon in the game, hands down. That could just plow through people. The boomerangs I didn't mind, but they had limited range. But the cool thing about it was they would come back to you, and you could like reuse them over and over until they went off completely off screen. And then the ninja stars, I don't care if it's single or trio, those are just so useless unless you were going up against mousers or flies or stuff like that. But the scroll weapon was the shit for sure. So then it's like you see this here. Sometimes like you have your 4 turtles. They have like 8 health squares, and you can do halves on them too. Once your health basically drains out, they die, and then Splinter's like, he's out. Who's next? In stage 4, you can actually 3 and 4. You can actually recover kidnapped turtles and stuff like that. So you'll see them they're kind of gaining lives back. So you'll see them basically tied up in levels, and you touch them and then they come back at full health. So it's pretty cool that you can do that. But it's very tough. Oh, whoops. Sorry about this. It's very tough to find them though. Often I have a new mouse and I just pressed the side button by mistake there. So there you go. It's like, hey, look at me. I'm Mechaturtle. So basically, after that, you you basically rescue Splinter from Mechaturtle at that point. Now you got to get to the airport to basically get to the Technodrome area, which is just super annoying. So we talked about that before. So they're just kind of rehashing it for you there. So that's pretty much it for that. Well, it's awards time. So now we're pretty cool artwork here. I like that.
Yep.
So now we're pretty much going to see what happened. So best graphics and sound was given to Simon's Quest. I could go for that because I do love the Castlevania soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
So that was pretty cool there. Best challenge going to Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I mean, like, especially the second quest, I can kind of see that, honestly. But, you know, I mean, what was the one that we picked?
You know, I think if it hadn't been for, like, Death Mountain, it would have been, like, Adventure of Link, Zelda 2.
I think that was more of a challenging game than the first one, honestly, like, hands down. Because in this one, even if you got lost or something like that, there were areas in the first quest that you really wouldn't, you know, that you couldn't, like, really have too much trouble with until you got up to about level 7. And I'm being kind of gracious saying that. It's more so 8, but, you know, 7 was pretty annoying. Best theme fun, Super Mario 2. You know, for a rehashed game over an original that never officially came to America, honestly, Super Mario 2 was fun because it was like much different. It was a much different play style from the first one, and it felt like a lot more interaction. Now, I'm grateful that 3 went back to the original style and format with, you know, hell of a lot of enhancements and whatnot. But I guess I could kind of go with that.
And I'll say this, Mario 2 was one of the most fun games to speedrun as a kid, because you know, no matter how you did it, there were different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go for the faster dig time with Toad, the better jump with Luigi, the hang gliding with the princess, or you could just suck as Mario.
Well, Mario was like the jack of all trades, but, you know, Toad is where it's at because you wouldn't lose speed or strength when you were lifting stuff, or like jump power, even though he was the worst jumper, but still. Best play control, Super Mario 2. Yeah, I mean, it's got some really, really good, you know, control to it and everything like that, like being able to do the different jumps and whatnot. So, I mean, I could see that. Best character, Link. Hey, I voted Simon personally, but, you know, Link's a definite runner-up there. So I can definitely roll with that. That's really cool there. Best ending, Super Mario 2.
Yeah, I'm going to have to press X to doubt.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to press X to doubt on that too. Or that's a hard no.
How about no, Nintendo Power?
I mean, but you think of it this way: Mario is Nintendo's flagship game, basically. So I can understand the dick sucking to it, basically. Best player versus player, Blades of Steel. You know, that was probably one of the best Nintendo hockey games ever made. I'm not a big hockey fan, but I really enjoyed that one there. I mean, before the Super Nintendo and the PC and, you know, started evolving more, I'll admit, you know, Blades of Steel was a lot of fun to play. Like, I'm not a big baseball fan, but I really loved RBI baseball because you could, like, get games up to, like, the 20s in points practically.
Yeah,
and it was
simple. I'm not a big hockey guy either, but that was a very addicting game to play.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm more, you know us. I mean, if you've been following us, I'm more college football, college basketball, and then, you know, Ardeth just rolls with it, which is cool, you know, so. Overall, Zelda 2 Adventure of Link, I could go with that. I mean, it's a good game. Personally, I like the first one a lot more, but I could kind of see where they're rolling with that because it was a different perspective and different look. And I mean, honestly, a lot of people call it the black sheep of the group there. But I mean, you know, Zelda 2 is not that bad. It's not that bad of a game. It probably has, like, the plot to it was a lot more deep for the second one than the first one, so I'll give it that. I was blown away with just the extended plot to that there for sure.
Plus, I just love having a game where you not only have the map from the first area, but now you have all this more.
Right, Northern Hyrule, it's just like, Jesus, it's that big, alright! So, but I mean, you know, they made, what was really cool is they made a 3D version of Zelda 2, like, it's still in like an 8-bit format, but they made it like kind of like first person, and you see like the sword stick out and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, but they never finished beyond the first palace, which was a drag.
You know, they actually kind of have a game that's like that. It's already made, translated to English on the PSP. It's called like 30-Minute Heroes, where it's basically got like the same gameplay as the original Zelda, but it's kind of like in a sort of quasi 3D state with like Minecraft graphics. It kind of reminds me of that video we saw the other day.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and that's what the Zelda 2 3D looks like. Is kind of like those Minecraft-ish graphics. Yeah, they never allowed you to like go into the towns or anything like that in that, which was kind of a drag. Because I loved the town parts of Zelda 2. Very creative to basically have that kind of NPC interaction. So they kind of stuck with that. Like when Link to the Past came out, they basically put in Kakariko Village and everything, which I thought was great. Great legendary theme to it. I mean, Link to the Past still has like the best rendition of the overworld theme, hands down. And then when you go to the Golden World, ooh, I love that so much, or Golden Land, whatever you want to call it. But that was that. The.
I tell you, man, I loved Ocarina of Time when you would like go into the various villages and towns, just that quiet, serene, peaceful, towny music, and then you go into the future and everything's all Mad Max.
Same thing like when you go into the Zora Keep or Zora Domain and whatnot. I loved the music to that. I thought that was very serene.
Plus, I loved it when I went into the Goron Kingdom. It's everything's pretty okay, and then you meet the Gorons. Like, play Sharia's song. I'm gonna drop this shit.
Where the hell is everybody? So then you got Adventures of Bayou Billy, so the Crocodile Dundee there. So it basically kind of shows you a little bit more of the stages, which is cool, and then they'll show you like the shooting stages, driving stages, so you're getting some more tips here and stuff rather than the preview for the next episode. It was really interesting. I love the animal artwork, by the way. But it was really interesting how they would just kind of like divide things up, basically. Like they'd give you like a taste, and then it's like, get the next issue and you're going to get more babies.
The funny thing is, though, all of those animals they had there, they ain't in the bayou. Almost all of them are either in South America or Australia.
That's true.
Geography, kids.
Yeah, exactly. I think they were just kind of putting it in there for like that whole tropical thing.
They won't know.
Yeah, right. Now, basically, Cobra Triangle, they've got the maps there. I've never played the game, but like I said, it's kind of similar to Spy Hunter in a sense, except at a different angle. Life Force was quite a game. This is technically Gradius 2, and this was a very difficult and challenging game, basically. These bosses, I mean, I love the just art design for the bosses. Just really, really cool. This is really good artwork here, by the way. The little cobra there. Or viper, I mean.
By the way, since you mentioned this is basically Gradius 2, but for us round eyes, us dirty Americans, there's actually kind of a sister parody series to Gradius called Parodius, where like it's basically the same gameplay, but now you got like a 35-foot tall, sexy Vegas dancing showgirls in the middle of the screen attacking you.
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw that in a Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine where they have that chick who's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then there's also the girl who has like, who's like naked underneath the sheet. I know exactly what you're talking about. Holy shit. Okay. I that was like, oh yeah, when I saw that, obviously I was just sitting there like, dude. I was like talking to my brother, I'm like, dude, fucking naked chick under the blankets, yeah. So there's the Life Force maps that they have there and whatnot. I always loved these little like flames, like it kind of looked like they would come out of the sun and whatnot. I thought that was really, really cool there. So yeah, that's really nifty there. And then Mega Man 2.
Mega Man, we gotta stop Dr. Wily.
Hold on just a second here.
You just look so adorable.
I'm looking at this right now.
Oh my god.
Holy kick. Or holy shit. Oh man, I'm sorry. I can't get over this. I'm looking at this and I can't get over this. This is like, what does that remind me of? I keep thinking, like, in a sense, like Baby Herman grown up from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
And look, we have all of our old friends. We have Badass, we have Gay Man, we have Other Gay Man, we have Emo Man, we have Environmentally Friendly, Please Keep Al Gore Away From Me Man.
We got Bloated Man. or no, it's just Water Weight Man.
We have I'll Suck You Man.
Quick Man, forget it. Yeah, Metal Man's the only dude that looks awesome out of that, and I mean, he was my favorite from 2. But I love the Guts Dozer. Like, Guts Man is my all-time favorite Master Robot from the Mega Man series. Who's yours?
Search Man from like NT Warrior.
But
I can just imagine him getting up to Bubble Man. It's like, I'm gonna get you wet, Mega Man. It's like,
well, it's bubble lead though, and lead's dangerous. But when I remember, we an old friend of mine and I came up with jobs and like careers for the Master Robots from Mega Man. So basically, like with Gutsman, we made him like a Dr. Wily's music DJ, and then we also made him kind of like this. We made him like this. What's the term I'm looking for? Sorry. Okay, yeah, we made him this kind of like scholar. There we go. I'm sorry, I'm like losing my mind here. It's been a long day. We made him like this scholar, and he would be wearing like these glasses down on his nose. You know, he'd still look like having that dummy, lower jaw, but he would just talk like, rather than like, ooh, hoo-hoo, and things like that. It's more like he'd talk like sophisticated, elegant things like that. Very, chivalric man. Woodman, what was funny with Woodman, we made him like unemployed, and like his bark like on his body was basically like rotting off, and then he had like potato chips just like welded into his bark. And it's like, all I want to do is sit around and eat chips, stuff like that. Just kind of do that. And then like Airman, we basically had we had him being like an industrial fan for like construction workers and stuff. So it's like they walk over to cool down and he just turns it on. And then like Quickman, we basically had Quickman doing like his own like food delivery service and stuff. And then like Metal Man, we basically had Metal Man being a lumberjack. So it was really cool just to kind of pick things like that. And so it's really nice. What's up?
Oh man, I could imagine like Gutsman either working in the cafeteria or as a PE teacher. Come on, 50 goddamn squats. I could do 150 by this time.
Cutman basically did like part-time gardening and then part-time barber. Yeah. Bombman did like Bombman basically didn't have a job because he became a Unabomber. So
what's funny in the PSP Mega Man Powered Up game, when you beat the Robot Masters, you can actually bring them back to Dr. Light, and he will deprogram them from Wily's brainwashing, and you can play as them. And they all have voices and personalities. Like,
which game was this?
Mega Man Powered Up on the PSP.
Oh yeah, and they were really terrible voices.
But I did kind of like the personalities. I like how Iceman was like this lawman, this really straight by the books kind of a guy. that just caught me off guard. I'm like, wow, I was kind of expecting that from someone else.
Proto Man's voice, it's like, well, I see that I'm going to have to take action in my own hands. It's like, that voice doesn't even fit him,
It was kind of like the TV tone for the cartoon in America.
Now, that was worse. Yeah, I was about to say don't go there, but yeah, that was worse. So, I don't know what Dr. Wily's doing over there, like, hey-heying about it. It's like he's, like, jerking off or something, I don't know. But, not bad of an artwork, though, on the select screen for Mega Man 2. So, yeah, this was basically when it was coming about, and really exciting, It was just exciting to see Mega Man 2 took a great idea and just perfected it, basically, and they just kept getting slightly better, and then like 6 kind of started going on a steady slope after that. But I wasn't really a big fan of 4 either, but throwing in the Mega Buster I thought was cool. 5 was really good, I liked that, but 3 is still my favorite. So.
Fun fact about Dr. Wily and Dr. Light, they're actually based on famous scientists in real life. Dr. Light is actually based on Albert Edison, and Dr. Wily is based on Albert Einstein.
Thomas Edison, you mean?
Yeah, Thomas Edison.
Yeah, and then Albert Einstein, yeah. That's true. I totally forgot about that.
And Dr. Robotnik is actually based on Teddy Roosevelt. Weirdly enough,
that does make sense because he slightly has the look, except a little more chaotic. But anyway... So here's the maps for a lot of the stages, like Flashman, Quickman, oh, those lasers were annoying. Yeah. Airman, this was a little tricky, hopping machine to machine. Metal Man was really cool. Woodman, and they got Bubble Man stage there, and then I guess maybe Heat Man's going to be... No, they don't even show Heat Man. Sorry, Heat Man, you got the Jip there. And Crash Man got the Jip too, so sorry guys, but that's 6 of the 8 robot stages there.
Well, I mean, he's basically a walking Bic lighter. What can you expect?
Look at that drunk enemy there, and then look at that mentally ill frog. But I always loved like the little 8, like some of the wicked faces to the hello, and then but these guys made a comeback in Mega Man 3. Like, these guys were in the Hard Man stage, but these guys show up in Woodman stage when you go outside. And what's funny is, Woodman, out of all the stages, Woodman stage is like the most detailed out of all of them. The rest of them, just look at how cookie cutter the backgrounds are, You compare it to Mega Man 1, where you have like all those awesome backgrounds, and then 2, it's just like, meh, more indoor stuff.
You know what I think of when I see that robot frog? I'm thinking to myself, you get up to him, he's like, I lick myself.
So basically, there's what all of them look like, and then they've already like reviewed and things off the chart ratings. And can you blame them? I mean, it's worthy. This is worthy. This is like one of the first games that any kid would have been super excited for on the Nintendo before, and this is before Mario 3 came out and whatnot. Now, Faxanadu. This has the same type of play that Zelda 2 has in the action sequences, except better. And a little worse too. But Faxanadu's lore is so interesting. Even Captain N had a few episodes when you basically go into the realm and everything like that. But yeah, since this is like a game that I really, really enjoy, I'm going to kind of spend a little more time on it and everything like that. So basically, it's an action role-playing game. So just to get that out of the way, there it is a role-playing game, and it's a side scroller basically. So it's a platforming side scroller. So ultimately, what it is it originally. In Japan, it was called Dragon Slayer, so that's what they called it there in that. And Faxanadu is kind of like a side story of Xanadu, which was the second installment of the Dragon Slayer series there. Another side scroller that's been popular was like Wise 3, for example, and things like that. So there were some RPs out there that followed like that side scrolling style. It was really awkward.
Oh, yeah. Even the Sega Genesis had one called Lance Doctor, but it was like top-down isometric.
Yeah, Sword of Vermilion was another, but they did like 3D and then like side, for like the bosses. I remember that. That was a really interesting RP on the Genesis. But anyway, I digress there. So ultimately, like it's medieval style and things like that. So you basically would control. Like, there's no name to the main character, but he was returning home basically to Aeolus, which is pretty much like an elven town that's at the foot of what's called the World Tree. So it kind of has like that Dragon Quest sort of thing in that with the Yggdrasil tree and whatnot. So the town basically is like abandoned when you get back, and then it's under attack by dwarves, which are like the elf enemies there. So the Elven King basically is telling you that the fountain water, that's their life source, has been stopped, and then the rest of the water's been poisoned and things like that. So what you have to do is you have to go out there and restore the 3 springs first. So you basically go around the base of the tree, and then you run into like 2 villages there and stuff, and you have to go through like these towers and fortresses, and then so you basically go through that, and then you have to get like rings from clerics and stuff to proceed to areas. So then what happens is eventually you go into the tree itself, and a meteorite hit it. So you're going through like dwarven territory, and basically like there's places that are on fire from it and whatnot. So what you're trying to find is you're basically trying to find the black onyx and things of that nature there, so that way you can make your way into the upper parts of the tree there. So when you get into that, you then start collecting the three components you need to basically battle the evil one, like the King of Dwarves. So you get like the battle helmet, battle armor, and then in the Nintendo version they call it the Dragon Slayer, but the actual name of the sword is the Demon Slayer. So like usually using words like holy and death and demon and things were not things that were like Nintendo friendly at the time. So like for example, if you play Final Fantasy II, you see like the white lance and that's on the Super, not the original on the Famicom, but if you played 2 on the Super, like Kain, for example, gets the white lance, but that's actually the holy lance, and then basically Cecil gets the crystal sword, but it's actually the Ragnarok. So they didn't want to use like religious undertones with it. And then I remember the best sword for Cecil was the like in the Super version they called it the Black Sword, but it's actually the Death Sword, and that would actually knock or kill enemies like in a single blow sometimes. Really handy against those zoos when you wanted to level up. Yeah. So anyway, I digress there again. I apologize. So the Fact Xanadu, it's such a great story because it's kind of like a Zelda 2, like as you can see, you're side scrolling, you go into villages, they would give these, like when you talk to people, like sometimes you would see these like little faces pop up, like I love the nurse, she was cute, so you'd see these faces pop up, and it was just so cool to just kind of see like their mouths would move in a sense and stuff and do that. The soundtrack is absolutely incredible too. Like the overall theme for the main part is great. The mantra part is great. I love the when you go in the churches and things like that. So you can find like all sorts of different weapons here and stuff. Like you primarily use swords and whatnot. And there's the Dragon Slayer, Demon Slayer there, and then you get armor and shields to like block magic, except that you get a helmet eventually. Now there is and this is what you look like, pretty much decked out. Now then you get like magic spells that you can toss across the screen. I love the Tilly spell because basically it would shoot upward or at an angle. This really came in handy against the final boss there. Otherwise I would mostly use like Thunder because it was a quick strike. This spell, the Dolge spell, came in handy early. But there's a remake to this game that you can get on the computer. And what's really cool about it is that in the original Nintendo game, you can't return to Aeolus as it says here. In the remake, they actually let you do that, which I thought was pretty cool. Yes. And then they also like basically kind of stretched out the maps and stuff so you had better views of people who were coming at you. They did fix a few of the jumping mechanics, and they even like allowed the wing boots to be used between 30-second intervals, so it would actually recharge rather than you having to like find another pair or buy them. And wing boots you could fly around in it. So basically you're going around and you're collecting okay, so that sucks. This is it? Okay. So
I like
basically
these ranks here though.
These are for your levels and stuff like that. So basically you gain your experience and they give you these cool titles and whatnot. They expanded upon those in they expanded beyond these in the remake as well. They even added like axes in it too, which I thought was cool, so you weren't just stuck with swords and then they redid stuff. So yeah, you would just go through fortresses and stuff like that. After you collected the battle items, you then go into the Dwarven fortress that's inside the tree, and you have to find like the entrance to basically where you first defeat a dragon, and then after that you defeat the evil one, as they call it. So it's a great game. If you ever have the opportunity to play it, it's tough because the controls, like jumping in it, is really picky, and like you're pretty slow moving, and some enemies you actually like these little dudes on the ground, you actually have to have a spell to take them out unless you like jump and strike at them if they're on a different ledge. You also would have to gather keys to get through different areas, and sometimes that was a pain in the neck. But if you gather enough gold and stuff, you can buy upgrades, buy keys, keep proceeding through. But regardless of the shortcomings, this was really a fun lore and a fun game to play through for sure.
I like that the starting mid-tier rank for the starting title for the mid-tier rank is Chevalier.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, they used to do stuff like that in games. They used to give you titles that maybe you weren't entirely familiar with, and then it would incentivize you to actually look these things up and dig deeper into the lore.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, Aspirant, that's good there. And then Myrmidon, that was really good. So I do love those. Those are really classy names to have there. The others, it's just pretty much self-explanatory. So, last that they only had like 3 pages on it. Fester's Quest, great boss music, pretty good soundtrack. I'm not really a fan of this game, so I'll just I'll let you guys pause if you want to check it out here. And then of course they got the sheet music for this song. That's great. Yep. Clash at Demon Head. So this, I like the artwork there. That's pretty cool. So this is kind of a side scroller. It looks like and stuff like that. Looks a little interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of reminds me of like Kid Chameleon to a certain extent.
That's true, actually. Oh yeah,
yes.
Dragon Warrior. All right,
let the hunt begin.
Boy, that dragon is. Whoops, sorry, my mouse wasn't moving. That dragon is drawn so well. Holy cow!
And I love the artwork on that hero, man.
Hero
the sword,
too.
The shield.
Yeah, I mean he looks great on or what's his name? No, excuse me. It's a Lodo's descendant, Roto. Yeah, that is really, really cool. They call him like Edric in the Nintendo version there. But yeah, that's really cool. Then, like later on, it's ironic how you find out that Dragon Quest is basically like the first, the world in the first Dragon Quest is pretty much the Dark World, and then you discover just like so much as it goes on. It's great. Then you get this is some pretty good artwork, but yeah, Dragon Quest. I'm gonna call it Quest. Yeah, Dragon Quest came out around a time when Final Fantasy was coming out and whatnot. I like the Dragon Quest series a lot more than some of the other Final Fantasies because they mostly stick to like medieval styles with like a little steampunk in it. But Dragon Quest basically dealt with a descendant to Lodo, but in the English version they call him Edric. And basically what happens is that the kingdom of Alfgard had basically been peaceful, and eventually what happens is that the way it was peaceful was that the king basically had these spheres of light, and what would happen with them is that it would keep like the entire underground warm, full of light and everything of that nature there. So it was basically, they were really important and crucial. Eventually one day what happened was there was a man that just didn't like it, and what had happened was, and this is the story that the Nintendo gave, a man went into a cave and then he ran across a dragon, and he thought that he was going to get burned, but then he basically discovered like the dragon kneeled before him, so he told them to like play dead, roll over, and things like that. So he obeyed the command. So then that's how they said the Dragon Lord was born. That's the Nintendo story about it, to where he ransacks the castle and steals the spheres of light. So you basically come through as Lodo's descendant, and they call him Roto, and you're going through basically to restore light to Alfgard at that point. Now, the thing about it is that in Dragon Quest III, the Dragon Empress lays an egg before she dies, and you go into Alfgard, because Dragon Quest III is like a prequel basically, and Lodo is the name of the main hero in that. So what happens is that she lays an egg, and people theorize that was actually the Dragon Lord that came to be at that point. Now in Dragon Quest II, which is the true sequel to Dragon Quest, what happens in that is Alfgard is actually, you get to expand beyond Alfgard, so the Dark World expands out and it's 4 times the size of Alfgard. You can actually go back to Alfgard and visit a few places. You can even go to Charlock Castle, which is where the Dragon Lord is, and the Dragon Lord's descendant is actually in the basement. And also Lodo's sword is still in there again, like you would find in the end. But the whole series was really cool in the beginning, how the first 3 parts tied each other together, and then after that it just kind of expanded into its own like kind of mini stories. So that's what I really found unique about Dragon Quest, because the Final Fantasies, minus like maybe 10-2 or 13-2 or whatnot, the Final Fantasy story, and Final Fantasy IV after years, a lot of the Final Fantasy stories were separate stories of their own. The first 3 Dragon Quests basically were an original trilogy, an idea, which I thought was really, really cool with that. But yeah, I used to rent this game a lot. I remember when we bought it, we got the badass pamphlet that had that story that I just shared and stuff. So, but when more Dragon Quest games come out, we'll talk about them as they go. But yeah, the first four, I just absolutely love. and 8 was really good, and 10 or I'm playing 11. 11 is amazing. 11. Just I wasn't really impressed with 9 or 10, but then 11 comes out and it just blew my mind how good it is.
Oh, is that the one with Jade?
Martina is what her real name is, but yes, that's the one with her. And when I get her, I still haven't gotten too far in it. I've gotten fairly far, but I haven't gotten her yet. But once I do, you bet your ass she's going to stay in my party. Dragon Quest IV had some pretty hot babes too. They had the Manya and Minya, the gypsy twins, and then Dragon Quest III had the really sexy female soldier with her bikini armor, which was great. I better stop because I'm gonna do a cock push up with my keyboard. So.
Well, you only have to do one.
Right. So you use your boner to completely lift yourself off the ground. Well, that's amazing. How many can you do? Well, you can only do one.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. All right, so Howard and Nestor. So basically, we're taking a look here, and there's kind of a little train ride going there. Oh, this has got to be Ninja. Oh yeah, it is Ninja Gaiden. Okay, so they're doing the mine area that you basically get dropped into in Act 5. So. Let's see here. You must be the expert video consultant. We have some technical game questions for you. So then you see Ninja Gaiden the movie. There you go. Expert's my middle name. I know everything. Just you need to know. Just ask. This is let's see here. What is that? Oh, this is Umberto Ria, the director and a great artist. What's it say? Senor Nestor. Welcome. You're to make this picture authentic as real NES game. Come, you show. What's it say? Umberto. Okay, Umberto. Where is the
up one?
Oh, the up one. Oh, the up one. In video lingo, we call it one up, sir. The up one. That's clever. I'm reading at a distance on a TV, so that's why I'm just things are a little awkward for me.
But of course, you see, Umberto seeks perfection. This movie must be exactly like the game.
So here in Act 4, Scene 2, tell me, where is the up one? That's actually funny. It's right here at the beginning of the bridge, the one up. You are sure my integrity is the art? It's an artist depends on this. What's he say there, Nestor?
Are you sure my?
No, Nestor.
Oh. It's right here at the beginning of the bridge.
No. Underneath, are you sure?
Oh, I bet my... well, that is tiny.
Yeah, I know.
Give me a sec.
I mean, he's closer to the TV than I am.
I bet my name on it, I think?
Yeah, it's gotta be that. Let's see here. This they say Max?
This Max. He's
your friend? Well, never mind. It's good. Now is the stunt ninja ready? Stunt ninja... A-okay, boss. It's Howard in the Ninja Gaiden outfit wearing a bow tie. That's hilarious. Lights, camera, action Jackson. Don't they know about it, that ninjas don't wear bow ties? Alright, so it shows him fighting along there. He's past the mark. I have to stop him. So then we got the ninja star coming at him. Cut, you missed it completely, or you missed it, dummy. And he's all standing in the middle. One up. And then what's he say there?
Let's see. Only Umberto says cut. Throw him off my set.
Wait, I'm telling you. No, it's...
He's no ninja. I just forgot where it was, that's all.
Alright, and then what's he say there?
Come, tell Umberto. How do you know so much about up ones?
Up ones? Up ones, yeah. Oh, that's clever. Hey, thanks a lot for the assist there.
No problem.
Alright. Where do I get the fairy spell for Zelda 2 and Counselor's Corner? Yeah, that's very important because that spell is going to get you around a lot of areas and can even fly you through lockpit or through keyholes, which is pretty vital. So what you basically have to do is after you go north of Saria, you basically go into a boulder cave and you'll get the sacred water there, and that'll help. Basically, they call it the water of life, so that'll cure what ails you. That will cure what ails you over there, and then basically you bring it back, and then you'll get the spell there. So that's all there is to it with that. Mine's Secret Castle, don't care, and then Ikari Warriors, don't care about that, but you can read those.
Stage select how to get that.
Oh god,
you might need that if you're going to actually play that.
That fucking game. All right, well, let's look at some play counselor profiles. We got Greg Lauder. He became a counselor May 1st of 88. His hobbies include skiing, softball, arcades, and flying. Very cool. Highest game score, 1943, over 1.8 million. Damn. His favorite game, Mega Man 2. Oh, he's rolling it out already. Right on. And then we got Tom McConville. Boy, see, look how old these guys can get. You know, these are the days. Yep. So became game counselor May of 1988. Hobbies include mathematics and cartooning. That's cool. Highest game score, Gradius, 9 million.
Whoa!
Yeah. Favorite NES game, Gradius? Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer there with that score. It's over 9 million!
Indeed.
Steve White, there's your typical 80s stash there. Became a game counselor May 16th, day before my brother's birthday, 1988. Hobbies include water skiing, hiking, flying, and video games. Boy, I just love these old nerd hobbies, I tell you. And then it says there, highest game score was Zanuck, 12,200,000.
Wow.
Favorite NES game, Double Dragon. That's cool. Hey, we got a woman. All right. Shannon Taylor became game counselor August 25th, 1988, 5 days before my birthday and 5 days after Pikachu's birthday. There you go. So hobbies include camping, reading, and adventure games. That's cool. Highest game score, Wizards and Warriors, 935,000. That's pretty good. Yeah. Favorite NES game, first Mega Man. All right. Well, she's got good taste.
In fact, I used to play Ikari Warriors in the arcades, and that shit was balls hard. It was like playing the Ikari Warriors in KOF 94 and beating Rugal without dying once.
There you go.
Which I also used to do.
How do I defeat Darknuts and Wizrobes? So yeah, those guys can be a little tricky there. At least the Darknuts aren't like the Iron Knuckles in the second one, which were annoying as hell. And then how do you get the blue ring in the second quest? So guess what? You have to go through that secret passage on the northeast peninsula where it holds the secret.
Yep.
Just like they say when you speak to that old man. And then there's Cobra Command and Stage 3, how do I get to the first base and where the anti-tank guns and homing missiles. So that's that little helicopter game. Alright, so now we're getting to the second part of Ninja Gaiden there. Ryu, the ultimate ninja, has stacked his fate on a quest to avenge his father, who was struck down by a mysterious assailant. Ryu has already ventured on from the Orient to America and discovered that his task is far greater than he ever imagined. Great forces are on the move, and Ryu must face them on his own terms. So basically, that's some pretty nifty artwork. I love the Jakio there in the background, so that's pretty cool there. So there's your ninja options, which are basically your secondary attacks and the right stuff. So you got your, medicine and they got rid. What's sad is they got rid of the the hourglasses in the second and third one. I always thought that was really nifty there. So Act 4 is basically the South American Amazon. So that's where you end up basically after you talk with, with basically your father's friend Dr. Walker basically. So after you talk, or Dr. Smith, Walter Smith. So basically after the statue, you recover the statue. Sadly, some people come in and they killed poor Walter. And then you talk to a guy named Foster from the CIA. So they recruit Ryu to basically go to the main enemy's hideout. So you have to scale a cliff, and then basically later on you go into a minefield, and then you go to the lower level of the palace there. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Act 4 was the mine shaft area there, and then the Hull of Demons in Area 3. But that's more so like the lower levels of the temple, to where you're kind of working your way in. You can pause this if you just want to read the story going there. And then there's the dog boss, the Kelbaros, which is basically the Jakio's pets. You see them again in Ninja Gaiden 2, which I thought was pretty cool there. Then basically life or death combat. Yeah, you get tossed into a prison. The Jakio basically is like, give me the shadow statue or else I'm going to eliminate Irene. So basically you hand it over, he drops you through a trap door, and then this is where the game becomes really hard. So you basically have to fight through the mine shaft, the prison here, and then you get to the cliff side. So you're basically scaling up, that entire temple that you saw that was basically done in artwork in the last issue. So this is it here. And then when you get to the nails of Lucafell. So when you get to this part, they play the first stage music again, which is pretty cool. So you just have to get through this. This is such a challenging map too. So then you go up against Bloody Moth, who turns out to be the person that murders your father, or does he? So this is the guy in the beginning. Yeah, this is the guy in the beginning that you see fighting against in the opening cutscene of the game, where they strike at each other. And Maul's a pretty easy boss. He can do a lot of damage to you because he summons like lightning to shoot at you and whatnot. But basically, he's pretty easy for considering Act 5 is a total pain in the ass. So as you can see here, this is the beginning. That's the beginning of Death Bridge there, which is like the gold bridge. So you go across, and then you'll basically make your way back to the temple, and then you'll discover, the fate of your father and like Ryu's father, and then what the Jaquio wants to do and things like that.
Ryu is a really, really, really ridiculously good ninja.
There you go. Come on, you guys. Don't you think there's more to life than looking really, really, really ridiculously good looking? It's like one of the best lines in the whole movie. Against the cola pop. You've only been working in there for a few hours. I love how he tosses the little bit of coal, and he thinks that's all hard. That's just great. So here we got some fan fiction. So friends, it's like, all right, I guess this dude's traveling along with Link. So I'll let you pause that if you want to read that. I love how they would let you write that. Like this is like early fucking fan fiction right here. Yeah. And then like FX9 when he did the Worlds of Power books, that was like the next part of fan fiction. I mean, it's like even if it's drawn bad, it's every kid's dream basically to be in a Nintendo game at this time of life. So. Yeah. Well, guess what? Zelda 2 overtook Super Mario 2. Yes. Holy cow. And then Zelda's number 3. So yeah, like I said, these are the hottest games that you would want to get in the mid to 89 there.
Well, excuse me, Super Mario Bros. 2.
Contra's at number 4, which is great. This game, I've been watching this game climb up silently. It's been awesome. Track and Field at number 5. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm sorry. Blaster Master at 6. That's great. Metal Gear jumps back into the top 10 somehow. Bionic Commando at 8. I'll take that. Metroid makes its way back into the top 10 at 9. Rampage at 10. That's pretty cool. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest at 11. Ultima jumps really high, so I guess people kind of realize Ultima was an amazing RPG. It had an interesting combat system.
Oh yeah.
The Exile trilogy was basically utilized a lot of the Ultima combat system, which I thought was cool. Double Dragon at 13, Mega Man at 14, Tecmo Bowl at 15, that's cool. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out at 16, First Mario Brothers at 17, it's still basically trying to breathe life. Blades of Steel at 18, Skater Die at 19, Castlevania at 20, Double Dribble at 21, Bad Dudes at 22, and RoboCop at 23. I don't know what the hell those are doing there. 24 is 1943, 25 RC Pro-Am, 26 Kid Icarus, 27 Ninja Turtles. I don't really find it at least it's down here so I can see that. 28 Life Force, 29 Bases Loaded, 30 Mega Man 2. So Mega Man 2 is going to make a pretty steady climb.
And I'll tell you what, kids, if you like your Elder Scrolls, you can say your thanks to Ultima, because that pretty much paved the way.
That's true. That was a very, very good. Yeah, Ultima was also originally a PC game too. It wasn't. I think it was on the Commodore at some point, or the Amiga, one of the two.
Yeah, and it's also been on the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy. Yep. It gets around.
Yep, Ruins of the Avatar, and I was kidding. So now we've got players' picks. We got Blades of Steel at number 1 there, Super Mario Brothers, and then Legend of Zelda. So they're picking the first Super Mario over Mario 2. Okay. Pros picks, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, same with the dealers, so they're just really rolling with it. Ultima made a huge jump for the pros. Yeah, I guess around the Nintendo Power Hotline office, they were probably playing the hell out of that. The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario 2, Skater Die, so yeah, Link scales the heights, so eventually Ninja Gaiden's just going to start gradually climbing up in the top 30. It should have already. I'm surprised the game just hadn't breached it yet there, but I mean that is a top 30 worthy game. I think it's a top 10 game, but Nintendo Power Critics Circle of 100. So basically you can pause that and read that if you wanted to. Professor Nestor's Father's Day Lecture, kids only. A tie with dinosaurs. From what I knew, that institute in Redmond, Washington. Please welcome Professor Nestor. That's pretty funny. Presents dads want ties, tools, aftershave, soap on a rope, fun. Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you something. Ties, you can just forget about it with me. Like, what you give me video games. If I were a dad, which I won't be, but if I were a dad, it's like you give me video games and I'm happy. Dad in the natural habitat. That's great. I love that. And this is good too, because we know what's going to happen when Father's Day rolls around. Social media is just going to be like, oh, Happy Rapist Day, or let's take this time to appreciate women. But you had Mother's Day, so
kids, if you never want to go wrong with your Father's Day gift, I got the perfect recommendation: cute, hot cat girls. Can never go wrong with that.
That's my fantasy. But anyway, I love these facts here. Fact 1: Dad secretly wants to be wants to be professional athletes. Fact 2: Dads secretly think that they're smarter than their kids. I'll tell you. Usually it depends. Fact 3: Dads secretly believe that they are party animals. Fact 4: Dads are basically couch crusaders who want to be heroes and have great adventures. There you go.
Yeah,
now you're talking. Fact 5: Dads love solving problems. My dad did. Ever notice how they tinker endlessly with the car? Fact 6: Most dads seem to be fascinated by games in which they need to knock little balls into holes.
Yeah, I mean, how else do you explain golf?
All right, yeah, no, I'm glad my dad actually played golf when he was in Hawaii, and he always loved getting like a good 9 in here or there. But then like he lost the craze of it because like I guess when he came back from the mainland, none of the courses pretty much held a candle. Oh, here's the extended grenade trick I was talking about. These are the stages that it works on, basically, like 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7. So yeah, you basically just kind of follow that. I mentioned that in the previous issue or episode we did. Extra ammunition for the M16 for Golgo. Super shot for 1943. Look at that big ass laser there.
Yeah.
Pitfall removal. So yeah, little tips and tricks there. Odd apparition. Press left or right, and you'll end up at the top of the palace. Oh yeah, I remember that really awkward thing there. Yep. The shadow would just kind of follow you around and whatnot. I knew what they were talking about there.
Yeah, that was kind of like the start of the whole Shadow Link thing. Was that?
Yep, exactly. Quick climbs. That's really cool. There's little sound tests that you can get. Continued codes, things like that. So it's pretty cool for Mickey Mouse Capade, I see. But yeah, it's pretty cool that they had the little built-in sound test so you could listen to the music. I loved it when games would put that in as Easter eggs.
Oh, Sonic CD had the best one. Sonic 2, you could actually use the sound test to like initiate a level warp to any level you wanted, including the special stages.
I'll be damned. Ultima character development. So this is really good stuff here. I'm glad that they basically talk about that and how to resurrect and whatnot. Because Ultima is a tough game, I'll tell you that. Now, happy ending. This is something that my brother and I basically discovered when we had to grab the cane from a room there. Otherwise, if you go on the main path, you're pretty much SOL when you battle the final boss. You'll get this crappy ending here. Preview of coming attractions. So that's basically going on for Adventure Island. So you got that. Twice the power for Nintendo Mario 2. Haha. So you guys can pause that when you want to read that there. So some video shorts. So there's the Super Dodgeball people there, just enjoying their Super Dodgeballiness. That was a pretty fun game too. I love the River City Ransom style characters. Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle. I'm really glad that it got low ratings. I mean, it's okay, but still, it holds a place in my heart because hey, Dad, you beat it. The only Nintendo game you beat, but you beat a Nintendo game. You can say that.
Yep.
Baseball Stars. So that's an SNK game. Our Fatal Fury Crystallis homeboys there. Fist of the North Star. I don't know why they're using this queer-looking character, but that was an awesome anime, I must say. Oh no, that's for Kung Fu Heroes. Never mind, sorry. But yeah, Fist of the North Star. It's just a shame the game was such a drag, but that was a really good anime there.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Heroes, meh. Street Cop. I never played it, but it doesn't look really appealing to me. Athletic World. So yeah, this was another thing you could use with the Power Pad. God, boy, Nintendo really stuck to a lot of good stuff. Amagon, I don't know what the hell's going on there. Monster Party, that was a what's up with this dude's lips? He looks like it's like a duck. He looks like he ate a duck's bill or something.
You know what?
More thing I know.
No, but I was gonna say the middle one. That kind of looks like that kid from that one anime where like they're all identical brothers, like the six identical brothers. I forget what it's called, but yeah, they're like all identical brothers. And they have like this really perverted French man who's always trying to con them, and I'm sure someone on the internet knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's what he looks like.
Adventure of Lolo, which is kind of like a Bomberman. Well, Bomberman's technically a rip-off of it there. I think they made like 3 games of this too. And then there's Hydalide there. So
the funny thing about that little Lolo blob, he actually shows up quite a bit as kind of like a weapon or an Easter egg in the Phantasy Star series.
I'll be damned.
In my Phantasy Star Portable 2 game, I actually have a pair of boxing gloves where when you're punching, little Lolos will pop out.
This is great. The storyline is so bizarre; it's beyond what we're even used to. Love it how they give 2 out of 5s across the board. So we got the Players Poll Contest. So first grand prize, you get a mountain bicycle with the helmet, and Howard's rocking it there. Yep. Second prize winners, you get WrestleMania, autographed WrestleMania game packs. That's pretty awesome there.
Yes.
And of course, the third prize is the Nintendo jersey. Third prize is you're fired. Yeah, we're sweetening the deal at this time. See what the first prize is? You know, you get the mountain bike. Want to know what the second prize? Set of steak knives. Third prize is you're fired.
Third prize is you have to work for Ted DiBiase.
Oh no, and you have to take the new title of Lonely Virgil. But anyway, you know. So anyway, you basically just kind of fill out that players poll there. So that's pretty cool there. And I'm really tired, so I'm glad we're coming to the end. I've been a long 2 days of work there. 112 games now on the list, and more to come. So yeah, more to come.
Oh yeah.
So the NES Journal here. So they're talking about, wouldn't it be great if you could go into an awesome-looking store that was virtually the entire world of Nintendo? Imagine being in a world where you could eat, drink, sleep, and wear Nintendo. Well, guess what? We got all the fucking product placement you can gobble.
Hey, look it! They stole Terry Bogart's hat.
Right. Batman. So they got stuff showing out with, basically going over it. The Dark Knight Lives. So this is what the movie was starting to come out, and boy, it was good. This was well worth the wait. And it was just good to see that. And then Secret Agent Golgo 13 Into the Wolf's Lair. So basically they're talking about the anime and whatnot. So anime during the 80s was starting, anime in America during the 80s was starting to become slowly a craze. Then in the 90s it just flat out exploded. Everybody in America loved Japanese animation. Well, you were a big nerd and everything. Now everybody today loves it, and it's just but they're starting also to hate it because a lot of Western women are afraid of big gigantic Japanese boobs.
Yep.
Because they don't have big boobs over in Asia.
I'll tell you what, man. The best Golgo 13 movie was the one with Queen Bee. That was my favorite.
There you go. Star at 21 Jump Street, and we know Johnny Depp was in that when he was the super young heartthrob. Holly Robinson, and you may know her as Judy Hoff. She's 24-year-old beauty that plays the female cop, the only female cop in the hit series 21 Jump Street. So they got a black cop in there and whatnot. Gee, I guess you're not going to see that much any day. She's a Nintendo fanatic, though, and she's humming her tune to Legend of Zelda. That's pretty cool.
I would have preferred to see her as the girl in Double Dragon rather than Alyssa Milano. Just saying.
Excuse me. Sorry about the yawn there. Like I said, really tired. So, Jeffrey Scott Campbell unlocks his imagination. So this must have been the winner. Yeah, this is the winner of the Ultimate Video Game Contest. That's a pretty wicked sword. So Lock Arm. That's a pretty wicked sword.
Yeah.
And I like the little characters and bosses and stuff. Boy, this guy really went 12 stages of adventure. This guy really went out 15 years old. Okay. Yeah, this guy really went out. That's pretty nifty there. Wait, let me take a quick look here. Yeah, definitely take a read on that. That looks really awesome. So, video spotlight. So we've got all these like uber little kid nerds here talking about everything they accomplished and whatnot. Boy, look at those 80s shirts. Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
That was the popular style, was that preppy look, because basically around the time of the 80s, Madonna attire and kind of like the beginnings of like goth attire were coming about, basically. Brian Michaels, boy, look at that haircut. NES Achievers. So let's see, we've got anybody from Zona?
Let's see.
Englewood, Colorado. So we're just going to cruise through here and take a look. It's so funny. Not many people you see from Arizona. You usually see them from either New York, Texas, or Florida primarily.
Yeah, Arizona wasn't quite as big as it is now.
Oh, there we go. Tempe, Arizona for Wizards and Warriors. Well, that's cool. That's a good game there. Yeah, if I ever see a Pueblo, Colorado, I'm gonna laugh. So we got the pack watch. So basketball craze is coming. Magic Johnson, when he was a star before he aged it up, and all pro basketball hoops. Three Stooges game. It sadly was not that good, unfortunately. But basically, the Stooges would be going around looking for work and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it turned out to be a really, really crappy game. Stealth ATF looks pretty nifty there.
Fun fact, the B-2 stealth bomber is practically fucking useless.
Gossip. Oh, yeah. Gossip. Back to the Future. This one from LGN is based on the hit movie, based, you wish, from a few summers back. It has the distinctive LGN style. An interesting timer in which is a fading picture of Marty's siblings. Check it out. Interesting LGN style. They were being very, very generous there.
Yeah.
Double Dare from that old Nintendo game show, or not Nintendo, Nickelodeon game show.
I used to watch that as a kid.
Yeah, me too. Physical challenge. So let's see here. Infiltrator, which kind of like is like a really cool style way of getting into places. 720 degrees of skateboarding. Rescue Rangers and DuckTales, looking forward to that there. There's the So Bad Power Glove. U-Force. Yeah, that's that one piloting stick that you could use for like Top Gun and stuff. And guess what? The Game Boy is starting to slowly come out. It even has stereo surround sound. So, yep, here comes the very first portable handheld. And I tell you, it was, despite the 4-bit grayscale or greenscale graphics, boy, was it a winner.
Strange fact, kiddos, that actually had a better port of King of Fighters 96 than the Neo Geo Pocket Color did. Yeah, I actually owned both of them, and the Game Boy wins. Flawless victory.
So, Pack Watch, Adventures of Dino Ricky, or Dino Ricky, you call one or the other, 8 Eyes. You also have Super Mario 3 is starting to climb on that horizon there. Super Spy Hunter, Snoopy, Sesame Street ABC, Muppet Adventure, Al Unser Jr.'s Turbo Racing, Jack Nicklaus Greatest 18 Holes of Golf, oh boy, USA Bowling, and Black Bass USA. So yeah, you're going to be seeing some interesting sport games coming up there.
I can't believe they actually made an NES game of 8 Eyes. That was a pretty messed up little anime back in the day.
That was... Coming up next in the July-August issue of Nintendo Power, Mega Man 2, Dragon Quest, Strider, and Fact Xanadu, so we're going to see more of that awesomeness. Howard's little left here, or little left over here, busy. There's so much happening right now in the video game industry. It's dizzying. Since the Consumer Electronics Show in January, we've been seeing some interesting innovations, some spectacular inventions, and lots of games, all in various degrees of development. Right now, we are just inundated with information and are busy to organize it. But don't worry, we'll be passing it all, or inundated, we'll pass it all along to you as quickly as we can. Nowhere else but Nintendo Power can you find all this inside info in one place, and this was the place to go. Speaking of Nintendo Power, next issue we celebrate our first anniversary. Where has the time gone? It's been a great year with Nintendo Power, hasn't it? Together we've reviewed some state-of-the-art games and equipment, learned a lot about the video game business, and met some pretty interesting characters like Nestor and Captain Nintendo. I think more than anything else, we've learned that we've learned this year is that when you're beginning to think there couldn't possibly be anything more or bigger or greater, something happens, and then you're there for the whole new worlds to conquer and new challenges to present themselves. Truly, we're limited only by our imaginations in the video game business. Boy, truer words have never been spoken. And sadly, it even worked against us today.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, that's the only real limit in life. But unfortunately, a lot of people aren't using their imaginations anymore. They're taking something that exists and fucking it up. There's nothing, I mean, things have already been done consistently, but there's a way to go about it to make it more genuine, or at least make it more entertaining. But some people are like, in entertainment, video games, you don't need that, but whatever. It's just all this whole thing where it's like, oh, video games and movies need to reflect real life. You play video games and watch movies to escape real life.
I'll tell you what was one of the most surprising things for me.
Wait. P.S. Don't forget to renew your subscription to Nintendo Power. Don't forget that, Ardeth. But anyway, go ahead.
I'll tell you the one that shocked me the most, because I never thought this would work in a million years, and I actually played this with Fox and Pikachu. It was the Persona 4 fighting game. I thought, you're going to take a role-playing game with dating sim elements in it, and you can turn it into fighting. And I thought, this will never work. And behold, it was like the second coming of JoJo, you know?
They did that with Thousand Arms, where you could basically date chicks for spells. I remember that.
That was fun.
Like I said, the limits of your imagination. So basically, those are those little wing pins that I was talking about. So I actually had one of those. I had a silver one, so it was pretty fun. So yeah, don't forget, guys. Just resubscribe to your subscription to Nintendo Power. Seal your future. All right. Well, I think the next issue is going to be the Mega Man 2 issue. So really looking forward to it there. And yeah, this was really fun, considering all the bullshit that we had to go through on social media and the 2 long, agonizing days of work I've had. And I don't want to say agonizing in a bad way. It just kind of like dragged on, but at least it passed by quickly. But because of the 2 days of work, I'm ready for my day off to start tomorrow. If Ardeth's still hanging around and whatnot, we may even just do another video tomorrow, which would be fun. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. If not, just know that Ardeth is basically moving to greener pastures, and we'll just leave it at that, basically. But, yeah, nothing bad, but Ardeth is finally going to be, the beast is going to be let go and free.
I know, we're going to have to warn the SCP Foundation to be on the lookout.
But yeah, Ardeth and I are basically possibly looking at meeting up maybe like once a weekend or like once every other weekend. It just depends on if I need to, you know, relax and things like that. So yeah, it's been great. We're going to have a really fun summer coming up, and we'll just keep rolling out the Nintendo Power issues and just having fun. But hey, in the meantime, we're going to call it quits for tonight. This is Gray Fox 37.
And me, I'm going to be causing trouble all over once I'm let loose. Ardeth Bay 76.
And get some sleep if you're still up, everyone.